What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here. This is NCIS Season 13, Episode 24, Family First. It's gonna be a long night for me. Oh, okay, so, first of all, I have a headache. Trying to push through it, but it really hurts, so if I'm a little bit unfocused, that's why. But this is season finale, and about everything, almost everything I wanted out of the season finale. I mean, we caught the bad guy, learned some surprising twists, plot twists, and it was very emotional. The only slight problem I have, and this is actually, to better understand this, I'm going to hop over to Criminal Minds really fast. It was either this season or the last season. They had an episode where Gideon, who was Mandy Patinkin's character in the first, I think, 3 seasons, his character died on the show, but Mandy Patinkin's not a part of the show anymore, so they didn't show him at all. And even just throughout the episode, they didn't show anything with him. They showed a younger version of him, not Mandy Patinkin himself, but a younger Gideon, as a teenager. And so that's all we really got of Gideon. And it was a bit upsetting because I'm just like, really? I mean, he was kind of an important character to everybody, and this is how we're going to represent him just as a kid? You can do better than that. And honestly, my biggest problem with that was he's a big character on the show, and then you kill his character off and don't even show him. I mean, that's not, in my opinion, that's not really respectful to his character. And obviously, if he wasn't willing to be there, you can't really do anything about that. But at the same time, you feel like, why not show flashbacks to some old episodes where he was in it, when he was talking with those characters, and show the connection they had with him. They didn't do that. This one, even though they don't show Ziva's death, we do get the flashbacks with her and Tony. We do get to see that. And even the flashback with her and Gibbs, it's more emotional that way because you get to remember those times. You get to remember them being together as a team. So it was better handled. I still hate, though, that we don't get to see Ziva again. That she just dies off screen. She was a very important character, and you could see that by Tony's reaction. And Michael Weatherly, I'm going to say my goodbyes to him in a second, but out of all of the performances he's given to us throughout this entire 13th seasons, this one was really, really just super impactful. To see how emotional he was, to see how just he's yelling at everybody, everybody's telling him, look, you need to calm down and go home. He's like, no, I'm not. We need to find Trent Court right now. It was very good, very well acted. So yeah, I do enjoy the emotion they brought. I do like the fact that they did a good job doing that. However, I still wish we could have seen Ziva at least one more time. Actually see Ziva, not just flashbacks of her. Of course, that's impossible if the actress is unwilling to come onto the show. So I was disappointed, but understanding. The rest of the episode, though, was pitch perfect. I mean, finding out Ziva had a child, as soon as they introduced that, it did cheer me up a little bit because I was worried, what if Tony dies going after Trent Court? What if he sacrifices himself or, lets his emotion get to him and then puts himself out there and gets killed? I was worried that something like that was going to happen. But whenever they introduced the kid, I thought, okay, so this is why Tony's leaving the team. Thank goodness. I didn't want to see Tony die because if he doesn't die, it leaves the possibility that he returns as a cameo or possibly for the last season, something like that, If he's dead, he's not returning at all. So it was nice to see that he wasn't going to get killed. At least I was fairly certain he wasn't. And even that final scene where McGee tells him where Trent Court is, part of me was like, I feel like he's going to get there earlier than everybody else, and end up getting himself killed, but he doesn't. He actually shows up late, and has a conversation with Gibbs about it, and it's very understandable. He didn't want to get killed because he's all that his daughter has left. Her mother's gone, the rest of her family's gone. He's all that she has. She's been uprooted from her home. It makes sense, and I like the fact that that's what he thought. That's what kept him from just risking life and limb trying to track down and get vengeance for Ziva. And I like that because it kind of goes against the norm. It's against the cliche of, oh, this guy killed the love of your life. Well, just go out there and let your emotions run wild and go kill him, get vengeance. I was expecting that, to be honest. And they didn't do that. They actually took that thought of he killed the love of your life and turned it around into that's not what she would want. And of course, most of those vengeance stories have that, but it's only after the good guy has a chance to kill the bad guy in cold blood, and then the last minute they're like, no, they wouldn't want that, and that's how they change. In this one, he actually thought about what she would have wanted and what was best for his daughter, and showed up late, so the entire team captured him first, and then he shows up afterwards to sort of watch him get his comeuppance, and then he goes for his gun, and everybody just shoots the crap out of him like, yeah, suck it. And then, of course, they left enough time at the end for kind of farewells with Tony and the team, and also the introduction of what looks like is going to be maybe the new team for next year. I was talking about in the last review how I wonder who's going to come into the team and be the new Proby, and somebody commented and said, the Tess something... Monroe's her name. Monroe is the new Proby. She's the one coming in, and I was like, I don't know. I don't necessarily want another DiNozzo, but I want somebody that can be the comedic aspect of the team, and she didn't seem like she could be that comedic aspect. But then the MI6 guy was also there at the end whenever Gibbs said, grab your gear. So I'm thinking Monroe and whatever his name is, I can't think of it. He's the MI6 guy for now. I'm sure I'll have his name down pat by next season if he is really a part of the team. But he kind of brings that little bit of Tony aspect to him. I mean, he was making James Bond jokes at one point too, and I was just like, yeah, I could. He would very clearly fill that comedic role that Tony had. Not necessarily like for like, but you've got the good agent in Monroe, and he's a good agent too, but he's a bit more of a comedic sense for the team, so it's not all, oh, we're all serious in business. There is going to be a side of the show that they need to keep going, which is the humor. The humor's always really good, it's really down pat, and he's going to provide that for the team. So I like the fact that they're bringing him on. It's a good addition to the team, and I'm excited to see where they're going to go with this now, I've always kind of wondered what's the point of NCIS, because if you look at some of these other shows, Bones is one in particular, Criminal Minds is another one, they have a team, but it's just like, where's it going? What's the final plan? What's the last thing that's going to sort of finish off the show? One of the best things I think about shows like Monk, if you watched it, if you didn't, you need to go watch it. It's amazing. But there was a main plot line that was followed throughout the entire series. From the very beginning, he was trying to figure out who killed his wife. That was the one thing that haunted him throughout the entire series. And so it ends on that note. And I'm like, that's good. He finds out who killed her specifically, but then he's trying to figure out who hired the guy to kill her. All of that stuff. I like that. It was very compact. They had mysteries for each episode on top of the fact that he's struggling with this whole thing and trying to solve who killed his wife, and that's how it ends. With shows like NCIS and Bones and Criminal Minds, it's just like there's a team and they're solving mysteries, and that's all you know. You're not really sure where it's going to go next. So now I want to know, now that we have said goodbye to Tony and we've introduced the new team, they've been renewed for 2 more seasons, which is crazy to think about, 15 seasons of NCIS, but I think they can do it if they can get sort of a main plot line down pat for the next 2 seasons. Whether they do one plot line one season, one plot line the next season, or if they just want to start one next season and carry it into the 15th season and make it like the final plot line, something epic that they have to shut down, like a huge organization, something like that. I want to see them get something really exciting going that's going to make me want to tune in week after week and be like, okay, I want to find out what's going to happen next. Because honestly, the reason I tune in now is just because The cast is good, the jokes are good, and the mysteries, for the most part, are fairly enjoyable. They're nothing too crazy, nothing like, oh, what a twist, but they are enjoyable. So I will say for this season, looking back, final thoughts in this season, it was definitely a good season. We got some good growth with Eleanor. What's going on with her? I don't know why I just called her Eleanor. Ellie, Bishop, whatever you want to call her. But we got some good growth with her. Her going through her divorce, having to deal with all of that. Gibbs and the team being there for her. Dealing with this MI6 stuff at the end was enjoyable. Ducky had a couple good emotional episodes for him. The one with his brother in particular. Overall, it was a very good season. It was just as enjoyable as always. Very good jokes, very good cast. It just really ended on a good note, in my opinion. Very emotional. I was crying. I can't help it. And now Tony's going to go be a single dad. And I can appreciate that. So I'm going to miss him. Michael Weatherly, thank you for all you've done for NCIS and the show. You brought a sense of comedy that I didn't think was possible that one man could bring. But I've enjoyed 13 seasons. I'm going to miss you, buddy. Like he's actually watching this review. I only get like 50 reviews on these most of the time. Anyway. But yeah, very good season. Looking forward to next season. Can't get here soon enough because I'm going to miss all those jokes over the summer. Maybe I'll watch reruns. Anyway, those are my thoughts in this season and this final episode. Let me know what you thought down below. What do you want to see in the next season? Do you like the two new characters that... I'm still hoping that it's both of them and not just Monroe, because both of them together could make a really good team. We saw them questioning that one guy in the last episode, and it seems like they work well together, so I'd like to see both of them. What are your thoughts on it? Let me know in the comments. Leave a like and subscribe for more future NCIS reviews, and check out my other reviews when you get a chance, if you happen to watch any of the other shows I do, and I'll see you guys at the next season. Peace out.